We move on to our next session, which is on conversational AI, building a less artificial and more intelligent CX. And we have a plethora of panel experts who are going to discuss on this very exciting subject topic. Before I call on the panel members, I would like to shed few points of discussion with you, which the panelists are going to cover. What is conversational AI and why it is a global trend today? Conversational AI is changing how we engage with customers. Conversational AI enables customers to seamlessly connect with a chatbot and get real-time access and many more. So without taking any further time of yours, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the honorable panel members in the order of the sequence. Joining us first in this panel is Ms. Harmeet Chadha, Senior Vice President and Head of Customer Obsession for Branch Banking, Retail Liabilities and Institutional Capabilities from Axis Bank. A big round of applause to Ms. Harmeet. Madam, please welcome to the panel. Kindly have your seat. Joining next in the panel, we have Mr. Harkaran, General Manager, Radisson Blue, Mumbai International Airport. Harkaranji, welcome to the panel. Glad to have you here again. Joining next, we have Mr. Rajiv Nagarajan, Deputy General Manager and Head Social Media, Bharti Airtel. A big round of applause to Rajiv. Rajiv, welcome to the panel. Joining next, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Rajgopal Nayak, CTO from Metro Brands. A big round of applause to Rajgopalji. Welcome to the panel, sir. Joining next, we have Mr. Abhijeet Bhattacharjee, CIO, Utkarsh Small Finance Bank. A big round of applause to Abhijeet. Abhijeetji, welcome to the panel. Please have your seat. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call on the honorable moderator of the panel, Mr. Aakash Kumar, Head of Design from MakeMyTrip and Goibibo, MakeMyTrip. A big round of applause to Aakash. Aakash, welcome to the panel. Excited to have you here. Captain of the ship and the panel, all over to you. Here's wishing the panel a fantastic session.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I think post-lunch sessions are the toughest and whatever works. Thank you so much. So yes, as I was mentioning, post-lunch sessions are the toughest. So ये reshuffle plan था हमारा. We wanted to do that so that at least some energy is there. So guys, welcome to our panel discussion, and let me apologize for my hoarse voice. It's been a pretty bad weekend wherein tough cough and cold kind of a thing had been there. So my apologies, but the good part is I would do less of talking. I would be doing more of listening. These are the guys who will be talking more. So welcome to our panel discussion on conversational AI, building less artificial and more intelligent customer experience, right? In today's world, when technology plays such an important part, a significant part in our lives, conversational AI stands at the intersection of what's authentic and what's artificial, right, in terms of interactions. Our distinguished panelists, experts in technology and customer experience, from different walks of life and different industries, as far as from banking to telecom to retail and hospitality and travel, right? So from that perspective, they will be sharing their experiences, and we will explore how conversational AI is reshaping the way businesses are interacting with their customers. We will also discuss about how conversational AI can be used in practical applications, its impact on industry, and also the ethical considerations around this technology, right? Like there are so many questions around that kind of a thing generally people have. And today we would like to aim to answer the question, a very crucial question: how can conversational AI enhance the customer experience by making it more intelligent, but at the same time, keeping the human touch there? It should not become too mechanical, too machine-driven kind of a thing. Can that be done, and how can that be done? We'll try and explore that. So without further ado, let me just start on with the questions and the agenda. So, Harmeet, I'll start with you. I think it's... Sorry. Yeah. So, banking probably is one of the oldest industries as far as I don't know, I can't even fathom how old that is, right? And in our lifetimes also, we have seen how overall banking has evolved from standing in queues. It happens today also in some places, but it has significantly reduced with the advent of UPI and all those things coming in. In between, we had cards, plastic money coming in, then now digital, and all those things are happening, right? Like, and add on top of it, conversational AI, generative AI, these things have also gotten added up over there. So how does conversational AI, in your perspective, fits in the banking terms, kind of, right? Like, how do you see any tangible application of it in the banking domain?
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah.
It's on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just, step back a little and give a brief of what we are doing in our organization. We have embarked on a distinctiveness journey to build customer obsession, and to be known in the industry as the customer most obsessed bank. Now, in order to do that, we realize that, as rightly said by Aakash, that while you build process efficiency, you build good customer experience journeys which are digital and automated, but there is a very important part to it, is the human touch. Unless you have a transformation of their behaviors, you're not able to deliver the final experience to the customer. By the way, conversational AI is a commodity now. Sooner or later, every organization will going to lead it. In our organization, the size of our organization, there are some of the key problems, right? Scale, the first problem. And when I talk about scale, scale is not about only large and diverse customers coming the whole demographics of India, but it is also the diverse employees. And to add it to that is attrition. So all of these problems is a biggest deterrent of delivering a accurate and uniform experience to the customer. So how do you solve these problems? You train them, you keep training them, but humanly it is not possible to absorb so many products. And especially as I take care of customer obsession for our largest channel for the bank, which is branch banking. We are over 5,000 branches, close to 5,000 branches. What happens is that how do you keep training them with new and new products and the complication in those? With a large set of services being done digitally, people walk into branch or call up only for complaints and escalations. And I think our previous speaker was also speaking about the same thing. So how do you ensure that you give information on platter to the user who is interfacing with the customer? But this needs to be very well backed with a good big data, and it's not easy to build. We are experimenting in our bank to kind of deliver some good results to tackle this problem. So AI is, and here I do not mean very simple AI. We are referring to the generative AI. That is, as I said, is going to be a commodity. Any large organization of our size will not be able to survive without that. So
I totally agree. I think whenever it comes to scale, and now that the platform is there, and as she rightly pointed out, it's going to be a commodity, it will be very difficult for people to not utilize this platform if you want to handle scale, right? Like, so I think absolutely bang on over there. So next on to Harkaran. And Harkaran, I think I come from travel industry and I empathize with you in certain terms, because I think in your previous session also you were mentioning about like what customer experience could be, right? Like, so the industry, hospitality is built on customer experience. Everything else, you need customer experience, but this is one industry where there is nothing without customer experience, right? And again, it is not a very online thing only, right? Like, it's a personal experience. You go there, you enjoy the facilities. Either you enjoy it or you don't enjoy it. You buy a product, you buy something, you don't like it. Do you have a 10-day return policy, 30-day return policy? You can always go back and return that. You book a holiday, you don't like it, so sorry about that, kind of a thing, right? Like, there is nothing that can happen over there. So it is absolutely important over there for the hospitality business to be there. So how do you envision conversational AI enhancing the guest experience? Guest experience, not just the overall post-sales kind of a thing while they are there. How can that enhance for hotels?
Thank you. Uh, you see, as you said, the industry which we are in, at least I'm in, yourself, it is completely human-led, right? I think the overall world has really moved ahead with AI. I think India will still take some time. It's because of the adaptability and change of the consumer behavior. देखिए, if I may say in Hindi, दूसरी बात ये है कि आप AI में negotiate नहीं कर सकते. So if we have put a room rate at 9,000, how will you tell us we want it at 7,000? And I think as an organization, and I think as a hotel, we are investing a lot in AI. But at least in India, I have seen the usage, though the facility is there, but there are not many users, right? Even if you have informed them that you can do an express check-in, you don't have to come at the front desk. You don't have to come down to deposit your key. Everything is on your mobile. The link is on your mobile. The app is on your mobile. You can just, you don't have to deposit your passports physically. Everything comes online and we just get it done. So you see, we invested a big on chatbot, and we are mapping the entire complete guest journey from a pre-check-in to post-checkout, right? From where you start identifying where do you want to stay, to your booking, to your check-in formalities, to your during the stay needs and checkout. Everything is mapped in that technology where there are close to about 5,000 plus relevant questions which a guest can ask during the stay, before the stay or after the stay. From what time the breakfast is served, to what time the pool is open, to can I get a cab to the airport or to the nearest destinations or to nearest hospital? Everything is mapped. But you will still have we call it one-touch service, our guest operating department. They still get 1,000 plus calls a day, and after informing them that you can. So as I said, yes, the technology is there. It just needs a little bit of a more awareness, and it's also with the trust. You see, even today, when we say that you can upload your documents online, people are still reluctant because they still feel, it'll go up to the net and it'll go into the cloud, and I don't know, and I don't really trust. So I better come physically, give it to you, so that I'm rest assured that it won't get misused. So I think it's more of an awareness which is needed for a consumer to change its behavior, and of course, as the lady said, that it is the need of the hour. It will only help to increase the efficiencies. For example, now we've invested in a software where in the morning when a guest comes in for a breakfast, hostess doesn't need to ask for a room number or a guest name, because the key card reflects on the system, and as soon as you're crossing, your room number will flash on the screen. So the guest will straight away say, "Hello, Mr. Singh, welcome to the restaurant," so all of that really helps. For example, of course, Swiggy and Zomato has done things drastically in terms of the investment, in terms of the AI, the way that everything is so seamless and automated, and you don't really have to speak to the call center to give your preference and specifications. And likewise in restaurants, now with the blink of a button, you can still place an order, you can give your dietary specifications and request. But you see the charm of calling somebody and expressing that मुझे मीठा चाहिए या मुझे फीका चाहिए. It's a different, that's what we Indians and Indian hospitality is known for. And I'm a firm believer of that as much technology can come in, of course, that a personal touch will always remain. Like in pandemic, everybody said that the hybrid model is going to be the future, and the conference is not going to happen. My banquet hall is full from last 30 days. I don't think I've taken an off for last 10 days. So I think there are some traditional ways of working which will always remain. That's the in-person communication and physical connect, and that one-on-one, personal touch, which always will remain. But of course, all of this is an added advantage which we should adapt, and hopefully it should help us for our better future, enhance our efficiencies and productivity in the future.
Definitely, definitely. I think it's a matter of inducing a behavioral change, right? Like that's the toughest thing. You get the maximum benefits whenever you launch a product, launch some feature which can induce behavioral change, and that's when the big gains come in kind of overall. And I agree with your point around data, right? Like so, I had an opportunity to work with the team of Arogya Setu. And you guys know what kind of hue and cry was around at that time, right? Like regarding data. It's a valid concern about for people if my data is going somewhere. But at times, it takes time for people also to realize that there are secure ways of doing things, and it's not like the data is going to get stolen always kind of a thing. In fact, somehow the behavioral change comes in wherein like, so if you see some of the social websites and all where you very easily put data, right? Like that's where they have induced the behavioral change. So with this point on social, probably let's move to Rajiv. And Rajiv heads the social media part of it, Airtel, right? Like Rajiv. So overall in social, things go viral like crazy, right? Like something happens and suddenly you'll have so many things. And nowadays, social has also become a big platform of people venting their ire, venting their problems and everything. So how do you feel conversational AI can help in over there in resolving this problem for Airtel or in general the industry?
Yeah. Thanks, Aakash. Good afternoon, everyone. When was the last time we heard the word AI today? 2 seconds ago? 3 seconds ago? I mean, it's not just become a buzzword these days, but I think it is already reshaping the very fabric of how major brands converse with customers, especially on digital channels and social media. Handling a team of 100 plus member, handling social complaints and queries across platforms day in and out. Conversational AI is something which is inevitable in our day-to-day life, especially with respect to telco business, where social media, it's just an area where customers do not sleep, and they wanted quicker response, they wanted personalized response, faster resolution, and proactive updates, right? So when we talk about conversational AI, responding to customer is just one part of it, but I think I would say that's just a tip of iceberg. But there are other major aspects that a conversational AI can do for us, especially it's when I talk about telco business, especially on social and reputation management areas, where it can detect the intent, it can produce lead generation. I mean, it can also come as an helping hand during crisis management. If you feel something is getting out of your hands, as you said, some of the escalation that gets more attraction than it should get, and it goes viral. So the AI detects the reach, and it also gives you an influential score that this person is an influencer person on social, and so is there a complaint coming from this person, this is how you handle. So gone are those days. It's just acted as a response tool for us. It is doing more than just a response. I would say multi-channel integration, it's a check. Multilingual support, it's a check again. Feedback mechanism and customer service, it's a check again. So I would say conversational AI acts as a Swiss knife for brands, for modern brands today. And that's how it's kind of reshaping both digital and assisted channels and social media. For example, I would say Uh, we have a customer who is subscribed to an international roaming pack and reach out on social for or a query for a DTH connection, right? The AI kind of gives a prediction to the call center advisor or the agent who is going to respond to the customer saying that, hey, you know what, this customer is just today subscribed to a pack. Probably he may travel today or tomorrow. So there, the advisor is equipped to make an impact with deeper personalization, saying that once he or she answers the query of DTH, and at the end of the conversation, they say that, hope you have a good travel, which is something that the customer feels that, okay, I'm talking to a brand and the brand knows that where I am getting, and if you have any queries when you land to the country that you're going, please do reach out to a dedicated support number. So this is something that AI equips you, and that stops up with the human touch that we are already giving. So other examples are it predicts the intent. It gives you an intent of why customer is writing, and larger sentiment breakup on social happens on the keyword analysis, right? I mean, especially on social, sarcasm is something that you can't avoid. Someone takes a screenshot of the speed test and says that, wow, I get a fantastic, this is fantastic. So I still recall back in two years back when 2021, the tool predicts that as a negative, as a positive tweet. But at 2023, we have a tool which clearly says the intent, this customer is sarcastic because of the tweets that he is already posting on his handle, and the AI goes deeper and reads his tweet and the way he puts sarcasm. So the advisor is equipped now to kind of saying that, okay, I should be careful when I respond to this customer because he's sarcastic. The last thing I want to say is that, thanks for choosing Airtel. So, we've seen that growth in the last couple of years, especially with respect to conversational AI. I think that we still have a long way to go, especially with respect to contact center, with respect to assisted channels like your chat, your live, your social, your email centers. I mean, it is definitely changing day-to-day lives in those areas.
No, absolutely. I think the point you mentioned about those auto-generated feedbacks is, I think every brand would have suffered through that. I think it's high time something improves over there, because that's the reality of it, right? Like, sarcasm is not something which machine used to understand pretty well. Now, with the advent of technology, these tonalities are being read and understood. And again, it's for the good of business and customer both, right? Like, so this is something which probably was not happening in the brick and mortar world, kind of, right? Like, so you would go to a shop, your facial expression, your tone would actually tell the individual that, okay, whether he's being sarcastic or not, at least there is some possibility of getting that. Sometimes people will miss that as well, but yeah, there is possibility of that. So my next question now is to Rajgopal. So, very interestingly, Rajgopal, so all my childhood, and it's a very long time back, kind of, Metro was a brand which used to be brick and mortar. It still is, if I'm not mistaken. It still is. I'm not saying it's not there, kind of a thing. It still is. From there, you made a big journey to an e-commerce kind of a world, wherein, like, with your website and everything, now you're, and that's how the world has also transitioned, right? With this, how does, in the e-commerce scheme of things, and also maybe in the brick and mortar scheme of things, how do you see conversational AI impacting the retail industry overall, right? Like, because a lot of retail companies are in a similar situation wherein, like, they are omni-channel or multi-channel, as you call it, right? Like, so how does this combination, this balance and coordination work out?
Sure. Hi, am I audible? Yeah?
Is he?
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks. Hi, my name is Rajgopal Nayak. I work as the Chief Technology Officer at Metro Brands. As mentioned by Aakash, yeah, we are primarily an offline retailer operating 750 plus stores across the country under the brand names of Metro, Mochi, Walkway, Crocs, FitFlop, Proline, and Fila. Hopefully, you all own one or more pairs of our footwear. Yeah? Now, conversations always drive business, right? And more so in retail, wherein historically, you had the customer walk in, and the first impression determines the dwell time of the customer in the shop, right? Whether you were greeted, whether the shop assistant was focused on someone else, right? Now, and there's a lot of body language also that comes into play, right? Now, we are miles away from, in retail in general, we are miles away from capturing that, and building models on that to predict, well, may not be the customer behavior, but how the salesperson is behaving, right? And that typically, a customer who's satisfied tends to come back, and you have to just do one miss for that customer to never come to that particular store or brand again. Now, a similar process also happens when you look at all the brand.coms, right? Wherein the customer comes in, the kind of experience that they have, right? The whole browsing actually is a conversation, right? And how you mine that to figure out where he or she is going becomes very important. Especially the styles and the colors that the person rejects is actually, in my opinion, more important. Now, that being said, we do operate a call center, and we get calls from, customers for the online shopping, we get customers for offline, and more importantly, we also operate the call center for our stores, since we have a large number of stores, and a similar pattern tends to be there for all retailers, right? We also operate a WhatsApp chatbot, right? Now, what is important in conversational AI in all of these channels is, one, how quickly you address the customer, and it needn't really be that you have the solution then and there, right? Typically, you might have it how do I take care of a particular footwear? Possibly yes. If the sole is come off, or in case of other retailers, if there is a tear or if there is a discoloration, color goes away, there is no immediate answer available in retail, right? But more importantly, the customer needs to be heard. And that is where all retailers focus upon. Okay, how do you ensure the customer that, look, we have heard you and we will address it. A similar process, we get a lot of information that comes in from the social media channels, right? And the way, if you ask me, retailers look at all this data is that they are early warning indicators of a product defect, right? Of a particular issue that is there. It could be damage during in transit for certain shipping lanes and shipping handlers. And that's where the conversation, mining that conversation becomes very important in the retail industry, right? More than answering a question then and there. Yeah, thanks.
I think pretty spot on. This part of you may not get an immediate resolution over there, right? Like it's true for, I think, every industry. What the customer wants is am I getting heard or not? And also progressively, is anything coming from the company or the retailer or not, kind of a thing, right? Yeah. I may not get my refund immediately. It will not happen that I have cancelled immediately. It does happen with UPI now, by the way. So that also we have reached that stage. But even if it is not there, right? Like if I'm proactively, progressively tending that user, I think that's a very, very big win.
And I think Harkaran had mentioned that you can't negotiate with a conversational bot. In fact, you can actually do that with one of the food delivery partners that you also mentioned, wherein you say you're not happy with the food, that you will get a particular key, can I refund X amount? And you say, no, I'm not satisfied, the amount changes.
I think this day is also coming in. I still believe that the human touch should not completely go away. But I think there is one app, I keep seeing hoardings of it in Gurgaon, wherein it's a ride-sharing app, wherein you can actually negotiate the price. The driver who is the actually owner of the vehicle and person who wants to take a ride. You put in the price that you would want to pay for this distance, and depending on who's in drive, yeah, I think, yeah. So it's in drive. So those things have started coming up now because of the advent of technology, right? Like, so yes, that is happening. Is that the best thing to happen? Let's probably explore a bit more as we go ahead. So with that, let me come to Abhijeet. And we started our panel with a banker, and now we reach the full circle to a banker. So Abhijeet, collaboration between technology and human touch is again very important. Like in hospitality, out here in banking also is very important, right? Like sometimes somebody's life saving is in your hands kind of overall. So you cannot say that, boss, don't talk to me kind of, right? Like that's not the right approach overall. How do you feel this collaboration can be enhanced while we are using this technology, and how do we not kind of sidestep to getting to that place of, okay, tech only kind of a scenario? We should definitely embrace technology because again, it is important for scale, but how do we kind of maintain that human touch over there? What do you think?
Yeah, so hi, thanks for inviting me. Honored to be part of the panel. The important part of the panel, what you said, is started with the bank and with the bank, and in between there's a varied industry, and seeing what is happening in the various industry is actually very, it increases your understanding and knowledge of what's happening. Short answer to your question is the only way you can solve this is through a human touch only. Okay, conversation is a human thing. It's not a technology thing. End of the day, we are trying to mimic a human thing through a technology thing. I'll answer the question, but before that, I want to take the more glamorous part of the AI out and look more into conversation. Let me share a story, and I keep on sharing these stories in various forums. So my wife wanted to, she sometime in a AK, she need to teach people, make them illiterate to literate. So she catch hold of one of my maid and made sure she started signing and open up a account. So when that project was going on, and I asked her how you're communicating with her. She was not there, she's coming. So she said, communicating over WhatsApp. I said, how come she can't write? How we are communicating through WhatsApp? So then I realized she's doing a voice message, and the maid is also doing a voice message, and they are communicating perfectly. And I told her, how you picked it up? Well, I don't know, but the maid, that community over there, they're using WhatsApp just like that, correct? Just think about it. We probably don't use WhatsApp the way, and they are using the same platform in a very, very different way. So voice, if you go a level from what we are over here sitting there, level down, which we typically call a Bharat of the world, has a very, very powerful connotation than what we see. What over here we are talking over here is a more internet-driven, social-driven activities. But the India is much, much, much beyond that. And for a word has a bigger meaning than a voice. Okay. I said the voice has a bigger meaning than a word. So that's the reason this conversation AI has now you make that conversation convert into AI and make a meaningful outcome towards it, whatever be the outcome is. Okay, outcome could be information, outcome could be a transaction. It gives a very, very different parlance and very, very different market. Okay, so that's the reason probably this is becoming very high. And obviously the productization and commoditization, what my fellow panelists said, that also come into the picture. While we are a bank, but we are little very different than what Axis Bank is. They are much more bigger in size. Their customer credential and people are very different. We as a bank, we actually work more towards more tier 2 and below cities. Okay, and though we have our setup in tier 1 cities as well, but our large base of our customers are on tier 2 and below cities. And for there, the conversation is a lifeline for me. Okay. And not the conversation on English, but the conversation in multi-language. We have a very strong base in the Hindi heartland, so Hindi is, in fact, any communication goes from our official communication, Hindi is written on the top. English is actually down, okay? So that the way we considered it. Now, again, so for us, it is not only digital, okay? It is a physical and a digital which combines together, and the phygital makes a sense. Again, now, if you look into Metro or Radisson Blue, where customer comes to you, for us it is reverse, okay? We need to go to the customer, either to open an account or give them a loan, okay? And that's how those model on those market work. So the way you create your CX is very, very different than the way you create the other part of the stuff. So from there, you actually require a team of people who actually ensure that conversation to the technology comes up. So we have a set of, we can, in a technical language, there are various names, but in a technical language, you can call him relationship manager or the sales officer or the loan officers. So they do the communication with the front-end team. They get a feedback. We roll out a particular product, get a feedback, and how it is happening or not, comes back to us, and basis that, we'll make the changes accordingly. So we use one very interesting product for our collection perspective, okay? We reach out to the customer proactively in order to find out what is his collection pattern is, whether he's going to pay, not going to pay. Not only that, there is something called a group concept, so on which not only that person, but also in his family, people get a call. Now again, every day we are trying to make those calls, whatever you're going to do over there, are more specific, both in terms of data and as well as in terms of the detailing what's going to happen. Suppose we call a customer and the customer is irate. We get the information back from the RM and we ensure, okay, how that customer to be treated differently, or should I change the language, or should I tune the tonality of the stuff. So this is the continuous activity. So the answer is you have to keep your mind open to get the feedback coming from the market and ensure that those feedbacks are being incorporated on your model what we are working on. That one. Second thing I want to mention what we are working on. I'm not sure whether you are following or not. Last week there is a big fintech festival in Bombay, Global Fintech Festival, and in PCI along with us, we have launched a program called Hello UPI. And I strongly suggest people go and have a look, and the way we want to convert the payments through a conversation mode. Quite a bit of interesting use cases around that. So the way we expect the UPI has, completely change the payment system in India and make it more internationalized, which should give us a sense to go more deep in India in order to expand that particular portion. So yeah, that's it. Thanks.
No, absolutely. I think really interesting explanation through that story overall, Abhijeet over there. So I think only point I have is that conversation has to become human. It may not necessarily happen via a human, but the reality is, in today's scenario, it's a very new technology when we look at it from the perspective of how the businesses have evolved, right? Like, so yes, it's not like last year it came, but still it's a relatively new technology, and now the platform has become stronger. One thing which nobody in the industry, and when I say nobody, anywhere across has been able to crack, is how to kind of represent this. If you guys remember, late 90s, I don't know how many you guys would have seen websites of that time, or early 2000s kind of a thing. The UI itself used to be very different. My first job, my title was a UI designer. The title itself has now changed to UX designer, to product designer, to design, I don't know. There are so many changes that are happening, right? Like, so in a course of close to 20 years itself, there are things that are changing. In this technology also, right, like when we say and talk about generative AI or conversational AI, we are still used to the digital touch and click kind of a paradigm that we are aware of so far. The hybrid way of doing things is something which is yet to be cracked, and I have a very strong feeling that it is going to happen pretty soon. People have started working on it, and when that happens, probably we'll have a better solution around it. And that's how technologies eventually evolve also, right? Like, so that's probably is going to take its due course.
I'd just like to add a few things to what Abhijeet said and
Yeah.
what you said. See, human in loop is a part which is very, very important when we are building conversational AI. And if you look at globally approved architecture at this point of time to deliver a ChatGPT kind of an experience, basically, if you're trying to build a virtual assistant for your customer or for your employees, you cannot take away human in loop. Ultimately, who's going to train the AI, right? Because it works on a probability. With probability, hallucination comes. So to tackle to some of those technical problems, I think human beings play a very, very important role. The skill of the humans who will deal with the AI will change. So that is, I feel, the connect between the humans and the technology is changing. It's more intelligent, skilled people are needed to deal with that.
Absolutely. I think spot on. So now let's move we still have around 10 minutes left. So let's move to next round of questions. These are more generic, more towards the industry and the technology in general kind of a thing, right? Like, and maybe I'll start probably with you, sir. And what we'll do is like personalization, right? Like in my team, generally we have this philosophy that it's a privilege if a customer has come to you, kind of, right? Like, so we are online overall. When it comes to business, we are primarily an online company, and there is one customer who has made all the effort and reached there. So people who are part of marketing, if you are there, you would know what is the cost of acquisition typically there. And then there is this guy who has made all the effort and reached there. So it's a privilege to have that. How can I make the next step of that user a little bit easier, right? Like, so that is one thing. Similarly, when it comes to customer experience also, right? Like, so if I'm there, can I make the life of that customer a little bit easier? Can I do something which is personalized for that user? So personalization, in my thought and my mind, is a cornerstone for customer experience overall, right? Like, if how personalized experience I can give. Typically, you would see people being positive about a particular brand that, acha, they thought about my requirement, they thought about my problem, they preemptively solved this thing for me, kind of a thing. So that is there. So how does that personalization be leveraged, or rather the technology of conversational AI be leveraged to give a much more personalized experience?
So you manage as design, so that's the reason you told the question and the answer as well. So nothing much me to say. But look, what we are doing over here, the conversation AI, we are actually trying to find out the personalization. Whether I am angry or I am not angry, this is a personalized question, correct? So that's though it's a behavior, but end of that's specific to me, not specific. That's not a general stuff. Now look, we all sell products, okay, and products are not personalized unless it is you are you are spending 2 crores and I am a wealth customer, okay. So the product customization is not possible, okay. You can make it a variant maximum with a segment, maybe women or army people or something like that. But personalization can happen only when I know your transaction pattern, only when I know your behavioral pattern. And these are the two things actually allow me to derive the customization. Previously, what used to happen, when you used to have a face-to-face say, you used to see the person and probably know, okay, what the person is, or if he is a regular customer, you stand in front of I remember my father go to a shop for the monthly shopping. He used to just go stand. And the guy used to come and give the all the groceries, and he used to come and the payment used to happen. So obviously you need to have, so you need to know transaction pattern and the behavioral pattern to come to a personalization. But I think for me, the way I see is the proactiveness is the most important thing, and to identify why the customer comes on. Customer calls you when customer has a problem, and if you can identify the problem earlier, and that make the best customer experience it can have. Just to give one use case which we keep on working on, suppose you got a debit on your account, then the debit is very, very unusual debit from your usual transaction pattern, and somebody either holds the transaction or calls you immediately, said some debit has happened, is something, can you do about it, or are you sure this is happening? Or maybe your credit card bill happens, there is a deroute is taken, and suddenly the huge has come, and you reach out to the customer beforehand. These things make the make the customer delight. So get transaction data, get behavior data, combine, and try to reach the customer before the customer reaches to you.
Absolutely. So Rajgopal, when Abhijeet mentioned about product personalization, right? Like now you are in an industry which is like getting into bespoke products as well, right? Like, so you are getting into actually personalized product. The more bespoke it is, the more premium it is kind of overall, right? So how do you see that getting to scale per se, right? Like, because yes, there are some small startups who are doing these kind of products via Instagram and all those things are there. But at your level, how does that scalability be achieved?
Sure. So, see, in the retail industry, when you talk of personalization, there are two things, connotations to it. One is what you mentioned right now. I'll cover that second. The other, the whole area of personalization is actually trying to figure out what she or he is actually looking for or wanting to buy, right? In fact, in the offline world, I believe it's a bit easier than in the online world, because in the offline world, when one walks into a store, be it a small store or large format store, you have different brands, different sections. So there are pre-filters that automatically come in, right? However, when the digital avatar, is accessed of the same store, typically what happens in India, and I believe it's a phenomenon very rampant in India, is that there'll be only one phone number, right, which is used to log in, and the system has to figure out, whether it's the who in the household is actually browsing at that point of time. Right. That is the first channel for personalization. Then, of course, typically in retail, you have the occasion. You have to figure out the occasion. You have to figure out the style. You have to figure out the color. You have to figure out the size. And then finally the price point that the individual is trying to shop for.
Yeah.
So all shopping experience in retail is actually personalized. I mean, especially in the digital avatar, there is a tendency to build systems that try and personalize and go narrow and deep in the selection that gets shown on a dynamic basis, so as to have better conversion rates. Yeah. Right? Now, when you talk of extreme personalization, typically in retail will be, embroidered your name or your initials embroidered, etc. In footwear, let's say, it could be having an insole that is tailor-made for your foot, basis your gait, basis your weight distribution when you stand, basis the volumetric size of your foot, right? And so, for example, at Metro Brands, we have a store called as BioFoot, where we actually do that. Right, including building 3D printed custom insoles that are tailor-made to each of your feet.
Yeah,
very
interesting.
And
very interesting.
I would recommend, I mean, since I assume a lot of members of the audience are from Mumbai, please visit our BioFoot store at Kulaba. It's just above the Metro store. And, well, the experience is free, right? So please do experience and give us a feedback on that.
I think definitely now, you guys should do that.
Yeah. Now, customer data that one can harness over there, and of course build at scale, because everything is stored in a digital form today.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, even the next time you visit, we are able to retrieve your data.
Yeah.
And provide you reprints or make changes, etc. So today with technology, it is possible to scale.
Yeah.
right? But one has to be very careful on the economies of scale before attempting any such endeavor.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is the key point. We have to be aware of the economy. So, Rajiv, very quick point on personalization from your end with the context of Bharti Airtel.
Okay, so I'll talk about social. There's a saying, through conversations and through personalization, we wanted to make followers as our friends and likes as turn into love, right, for the brand. Our team, the team in Airtel and with respect to social media, always work towards personalization on human connection basis and not on transactional and on business basis. Personalization shouldn't be salesy. It should have some point of connect with the customer. Say, for example, there is a customer who's there with us for like 20 years. I don't want to use the term personalization and that element to put a sales pitch to that customer. Rather, I would want to kind of celebrate those anniversary moments or celebrate those milestones with the customer as a brand. So always the key for personalization is to have that human connect and ensure that you create that, as I said, convert that just likeness to love and turn that one follower who has followed your page as a friend for your brand, right? So that's where it works for social for us, and we have been, implementing a lot of aspects of AI and a lot of aspects of our training mechanism to teach our contact center advisors and agents to approach customers in that aspect, not just on the transactional aspects.
Thanks. Yeah. Very well put here. So let me move to the other side of the panel. So I have a different question for you guys. So my question is, and this is something which we discussed in my opening statement as well. AI, data, everything is very good, right? Like, so yes, we do want to give a personalized experience to the customers as much as possible. But where do we draw the line? What could be the possible pitfalls of this technology, right? Like, and considering you are from tech, you are from business over hospitality overall. So what are your thoughts? Maybe, yeah, you can start.
Regulation?
Yeah, that too.
Very much awaited, and I think a lot of people across the globe are working on it. We need regulation.
Yeah.
And definitely in our industry, we cannot do anything for regulation. So if you know that even today, that if you use any of the OpenAI or Google LLMs to process the data is processed outside India, right? And our regulation our regulation actually have a ban on the data residency and using our customer data, proprietary data for training that. So unless you have, the legality sorted out that your data will not be kind of stored and processed for other purpose, you should not be doing it. So when you say, where do we draw a line? Yes, in my industry context, the regulation is needed, and this regulation which is already in place, that data residency has to be in India. So, but look, this will not stop, right? The level of enhancement of the experience that you are giving will increase, but with that, the challenges will also increase. So it's a natural evolution of the technology and the way the world operates is happening, and the line has to be drawn with regulation, and I think that should come soon.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much. Harkaran, in your point of view, like, is there something like over-personalization, too much of personalization? How do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I think, see, luxury is all about being present, but not to be overpowering, right? It has to be non-intrusive, and you have to be there when you're required, but you don't have to be on the face. And I think that's something which we take a lot of efforts to train the team members and But I think AI to reach to that level, I think it's still far away, because that's pretty much very humanly, just to. So, for example, I started my career as a butler, right? So, as a butler, you have to be with the guests all the time. But then you still have to be there with them. You have to be in their very close proximity, but you still have to see things, but demonstrate that you're not seeing anything, right? And that is a thin line, right? But I think AI, as I said, will have its limitations. For example, complaint management, right? How will you manage your complaints if the guest is upset and he wants to express himself? The only way you can really handle a complaint once you listen to the customer and once he really went it out. Like that. Secondly, for example, now we are working on, working on a technology where, for example, the guest is staying in a room and he has an ambient temperature set at 11 o'clock in the morning. So when the guest walks in at 11, the HVAC will turn into that temperature. But you see, if that particular day I don't want that temperature, then if you walk into the room and there's a system where the TV will switch on to the last channel which you have seen. But maybe that is a time where I wanted to see that channel. So you see, there are a lot of ifs and buts, but I think we have to take the positives and focus on the strengths of the AI and move ahead. But I'm all in for the personal touch.
No, absolutely. I think you have been holding fort over there, and I think it's good to have a difference of opinion in a panel, and it gels out pretty well. I think as we conclude this discussion, let's carry forward the insights that we have kind of collected over here, take it forward from here. Let's continue to champion the cause of customer experience, right? Like, we want to improve it, enhance it, make it much more intelligent, but at the same time make it much more human. Even with human beings, at times it is not human enough, kind of, right? Like, and we have all experienced that kind of a thing. So machine is good. We should utilize that, but let's try and improve upon that. With that, I would like to thank all of you guys for being part of it, and particularly our distinguished panelists for spending the time and sharing the insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aakash, for wonderfully summing up the panel. And a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to this wonderful panel on conversational AI. Now, I would like to call on stage Mr. Brad Meehan, Managing Director, APAC from Strativity Group, to kindly felicitate our honorable and esteemed panel members. Thank you, Brad, for doing the honors. We'll start with Ms. Harmeet Kaur Chadha, Senior Vice President, Head of Customer Obsession for Branch Banking, Retail Liabilities and Institutional Capabilities from Axis Bank. Harmeet ji, thank you so much for your wonderful insights. Moving next to Mr. Harkaran Sethi, General Manager for Radisson Blue, Mumbai International Airport. Thank you so much, Harkaran ji, for doing the honors and for your valuable insights in the panel. We now move to Mr. Rajiv Nagarajan, Deputy General Manager and Head of Social Media, Bharti Airtel. Thank you, Rajiv, for that wonderful insight on the panel session. Would now like to call Mr. Rajgopal Nayak, CTO from Metro Brands. Thank you so much, Rajgopal ji, for your valuable insights in the panel session. Would now like to call Mr. Abhijeet Bhattacharjee, CIO from Utkarsh Small Finance Bank. Abhijeet ji, thank you so much for your contribution in the panel session. And our honorable panel moderator, Mr. Aakash Kumar, Head of Design from MakeMyTrip. Thank you so much, Aakash. Wonderfully moderated the panel. Great having you here. I would now request the honorable panel members and the moderator to kindly come forward for the group photograph. And Brad, if you could also join them for the group photo. A big round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen, for this wonderful panel of experts here who discussed on conversational AI, building a less artificial and more intelligent customer experience system. Wonderful session with these esteemed panel members, and wonderfully and beautifully moderated by Aakash from MakeMyTrip. And Brad, thank you so much for doing the honors as well.